Howdy, Coach.
How we doing?
It's been a while since we got to talk to you. So LSU game, first half, can't move the ball. Second half, bring in Marcel, and your offense comes to life. Was that just Marcel, or is that you finally getting to kind of do the playbook that you've had success in the past, and is that something that you look forward to this season?
Well, I think in relation to that particular evening, it was a lot of different things coming together at one time. There were some changes that they had made schematically in the first half from us the previous couple weeks that they had not shown, that we had to make some adjustments on. There were some, those plays that are right there that we weren't able to make at one position or another, to really get the wheels turning. And we were kind of spinning a little bit and needed a spark, and some of those adjustments were very evident in the run game. But, I think even looking at Marcel's, work through last season, I think we're going to be a very, very balanced outfit. I think we're going to be able to be more explosive. We're going to have a little bit more speed at the skill positions. We will continue to have a lot of depth at tailback, and then I think just obviously, we have to stay healthy. I mean, injuries definitely added up last year for sure at times, and I think being able to another year in the system, continuity, working together, growth. It has been really fun to watch across the board at every position group. So I think the entire unit is in a better place.
We'll go fourth row on the right side to Christy and then Alex.
What are some things you hope to see from Marcel this year so that he can take another step forward and go to a next level?
Yeah, I think eye discipline, progression discipline, and I think is part of as our passing game continues to grow and we continue to develop it. There's lots of pieces and lots of components that have to come together and work together in really good sequence. And I think those pieces around him have really are coming along nicely, and then I think just allowing to play the game in the right rhythm, in the right timing, to be able to use his arm talent and distribute the ball to our playmakers, I think is going to be his next step.
We'll go second row on the left side to Alex and then Olin.
Had a couple of offensive line questions. Just first, what have you seen from Mark as he's returned to form this offseason from his injury? Mark's done a great job. He's had a great camp, even just in this first 5 practices here. I think you could definitely tell his strength levels and comfort levels from the injury are much better than recently. So I think having a good summer training, strength and conditioning summer for him has done wonders to really show flashes of what he was last year before he got hurt. And then Mike had said that Trey has been getting some reps at center. Just what do you like about being able to cross-train guys like that, and just maybe the versatility it brings and the competition it might breed?
Yeah, I think all of those things are huge for our offense. I mean, being able to have that flexibility. Obviously, heaven forbid, if someone does get hurt, you can move pieces around. The competition part. I mean, I think I heard Coach mention it, but that is critical, and our mindset as an offense is every day is 0-0. Every play we're trying to go 1-0, and it's that type of competitive mindset really pushes that unit and pushes those individuals to be the best version of themselves, and being able to have those guys with that level of experience and depth will be huge for us.
We'll go second row on the right side to Olin and then Travis.
Yeah, hey Collin. Did you, or how much, excuse me, how much of your offense were you able to put in last year? Were you at all limited by maybe what you thought your whatever personnel had? And if so, how much has that changed, if at all?
I really think that's a year-to-year question. I think last year, at times we were thin in certain spots, in certain personnel groupings. I think some of it, though, honestly wasn't all that much off. I know, some people have asked me, we didn't use tight ends as much, and I think we were 33% 12 personnel instead of 38% the year before as a coordinator. So, a little bit down there. But I think we're going to be multiple. It's ultimately at the end of the day, who are who are the best guys that package together, feel like give us the best chance to win? How can we dictate the terms of what we're seeing defensively to try to make them do what we want them to do to then attack them how we want? I think it's, the whole offense was in, but we probably, are only going to use a certain percentage of it based on those people that are healthy and what we're doing, and then the family of defense that we're facing that week. So, but I do think we will be able to take steps and use more of that because our capacity has grown. I mean, all of our players, every single position group has really taken it upon themselves to deepen their level of understanding about the game of football, their position, their fundamentals, defensive recognition, to be able to elevate their game, elevate their capacity, which then allows us as a staff and us as an offense to be able to use more of the offense.
We'll go front row on the right side to Travis and then Tony.
Hey, Collin. Back in 22, if there would have been a 12-team playoff, Kansas State would have made it. When you had your two quarterbacks, Adrian and Will, what was it about those guys that were able to put y'all into that position? What are some of the common denominators? And even though they might not have had the most eye-popping stats like some other playoff quarterbacks might have.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, that year was as good of an example of being an unselfish teammate that you could use, and for both of them. And both of them were on either side of it. Adrian got hurt early. Will came in. Adrian came back and played well. And both of them were in it for the team. They were in it for each other, and ultimately trying to find a way to win. And were willing to do whatever it took for the team to be successful. And I really believe us winning the Big 12 that year was that the team watching both of them handle that situation galvanized that group and us as an offense that year to truly realize, like, no one really knows how it's going to go down for anyone, who's going to get this many catches or this many carries or this many throws, or who's like, hey, it's all of us in it together, and it's about finding a way to win. And I couldn't have been more proud of both of those guys and how they both led our football team.
And as you've coached against other playoff caliber quarterbacks, is there a common denominator between intangibles and statistics that you see of, okay, this is a guy who can lead a team to the playoffs?
Yeah, I think that is a huge part of it. I think that one of the first things I look for when we're recruiting young men is, are they competitive? How competitive are they? What's their inner core makeup? What is the level of their grit? Are they going to have the intestinal fortitude to do what it takes out of this position and lead this football team, right? And I think obviously Will was tremendous at that. Adrian had that. Avery had it. Like, all those guys were very much in that mode. And then the second thing is I think too, like the football IQ and intelligence is huge, right? Because arm talent you have to have the arm talent to do it, but if you can't direct it and channel it and make your body do what you want it to do and react to what you're seeing, you can have the strongest arm in the world and it doesn't matter. And so I think how competitive they are, how smart they are, I think both of those are characteristics that equal championship teams.
We'll go front row on the left side to Tony and then Mark.
In a similar vein to his question, Marcel Reed, you've worked with him probably closer than anybody. From last year to this year, fall, spring, what have you seen either be intangibles or on the field that's impressed you with his development? Yeah, no, I think really excited about the growth and the steps that he has taken. I think as a young player, and I remember it myself, you don't know what you don't know, right? And I think now he knows, right? Like, going into last season, until you've started multiple games and kind of been through that cycle, so after you've been through it, how to prepare yourself so much better, right? And I think he has taken advantage of that. He's been up around the building all the time. He's asking questions. We've been able to spend a lot of time and just, again, talk football, right? And really kind of deepen our relationship, but then also study the game, and I think he's obviously comes from a football family and has been around it his whole life. He loves the game. He has a passion for the game. He's got a tremendous passion for his teammates and an engaging, energetic personality. And the Lord's blessed him with some really, really good physical tools, and I think that's a good combination.
We'll stay on that front row to Mark and then Carter.
Collin, obviously you've had a lot of turnover at wide receiver. Can you kind of point out some of the differences that jump out to you when you see these guys? And do you feel like you may have a little bit more depth at that position this year?
I think most definitely on both fronts. I think first of all, our strength staff, Coach Moffitt and his entire crew have done a great job of preparing those guys. I mean, from just a GPS speed standpoint, change of direction standpoint, in practice, there have been gains, and there's been some of those guys that have been here, and then even the new guys coming in, some of the strides that they've been able to make and the changes they've made to their bodies, their movement skills, change of direction skills. Like, I think all of those have improved over the last 4 to 6 months. I think, when you talk about KC and Mario as a couple of the new additions, I think both of them, what sticks out to me about both of them is they both love to compete. They both love the game of football. They play extremely hard every single snap, whether it's blocking, whether the ball's coming their way or not. And they're team guys. Like, it's if quarterback misses a ball, they're going over there and encouraging him, like, hey, we'll get the next one. And there's a really good, not just skill set of route running, understanding of coverage, those types of things of actually doing the job, but there's a lot of intangible things that they've brought to our unit that I've been really excited about. You look at a guy like Ashton Bethel-Roman being in the program for a year, how he's developed and some of the things that he's put on tape in the first 5 days, I've been really, really excited about, and has got some really, really home run potential, some top end speed, but still being able to have that top end gear and be able to detail his routes like he's doing and how he's done and the development he's had over the last year has been great. Isaiah Williams, I could say basically the same thing about of how he's developed and gotten stronger and is playing a lot stronger here this year than he did last year. So I think a lot of good things out of that group.
We'll go second row on the right side to Carter and then Donna.
Collin, how close do you think you guys are to picking a backup quarterback, and just what have you kind of seen from that competition so far?
Yeah, I think it's a good group. Been very, very pleased with Miles. I thought he really finished the spring strong. I thought he's had a really, really good summer, and is really attacking it. He's attacked the preparation. He's attacking every day in practice, which is really, really impressive for a young player like he is. And he's got a skill set. Obviously, really, really good size, really, really strong arm, and I think watching his understanding of the game deepen and the game is starting to slow down for him a little bit, which is really, really exciting and has done a tremendous job. Jacob Zeno has come in, I think, understanding the offense a little better. I think it jumped on him a little bit in the spring, but was really, really excited to see the strides that he's made. And Brady Hart's done a really, really nice job coming in early, obviously, and has made some really, really nice throws the first couple days. It's going to be competitive the whole way, and like I tell all those guys every year and every time, and have a couple really, really good examples that I've lived through in the last couple years of, at the end of the day, the depth chart isn't what matters. What matters is we play winning football at the quarterback position for our team, and that's going to take all of us to help get it done.
And how does Le'Veon look compared to pre-injury, and just how nice was it to get him back at the start of preseason camp?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a great thing. I know he's again, just an unbelievable young man, and watching him how he's attacked the rehab and been able to stay positive, and how he's been encouraging and with his teammates through the process has been outstanding, and I know it was. Really, really happy for him and our team.
We'll go back behind the lights on the left side to Donna and then Chip.
Coach, what are some strengths or intangibles that Armaje possesses, both physically on the field and then as a leader, especially on such a veteran O-line?
Yeah. He brings a lot of energy. He's a very, very passionate player. He wears his emotions on his sleeve and gets the rest of the guys fired up and going in the right direction. Again, I think he's a great teammate. I think he gets it of understanding the things that are most important and truly caring about his teammates. And he's physical. He's got good length and he's really, really physical at the point of attack and something that we're excited to even, elevate his game. I think Coach Cushing does an unbelievable job of truly developing those guys, and I think they've really bought in and really are taking their level of study, approach to the game and their preparation. He's a better player than he was last year, and I think he's excited to take steps this year.
We'll go to the back row on the right side to Chip and then Tyler.
Who has the best hands coming out of the backfield, and how important is that, what you're trying to do offensively?
Well, I think it's good that that's a hard question to answer because I think there's a couple of them that really, really have good ball skills. I don't think I'm not afraid to throw the ball to any one of them, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I think a couple guys that, probably stand out catching the football would be Reuben Owens, Jamarian Morrow, and E.J. Smith are probably the top ones in the group of their route running ability and how they use their hand and how they catch the football. But to be honest with you, like I said, I'm not afraid to throw it to any of them.
We'll go fourth row on the left side to Tyler and then wrap things up with Cease.
Yeah, Collin, you talked about how nice it is having Le'Veon back, and just talked about some of those running backs. How much of depth at the running back room, I guess, is that a strength for you guys, and how much do you feel like you will lean on that group within this offense?
Yeah, no, I think they're going to allow us a lot of flexibility. I think the diversity of skill sets that they have gives us a lot of flexibility. And excited to again have the competition and be able to have fresh legs and a fresh back there at all times. Really, I mean that is a big deal too, especially when you talk about through the course of the season that we're going to have and the amount of carries and load that they'll have. So I think it's going to be a really, really good thing for us across the board, and every single one of those guys is sold out to what we're doing and excited and in it for the other person as well, which will make it pretty seamless, I think.
We'll go front row on the left side to Cease.
You talked about more depth at wide receiver, so how can you possibly do that and make sure you still feature your top one or two receivers?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. I think it's I tell the guys all the time the most important thing again is it's about what does the team need to be successful, right? And everybody attacking every single time, and yeah, we're trying to get touches to everybody, but at the end of the day, what does the team need to win? And that's the most important thing. And the ball will go and how we design it, and we will get our playmakers the ball and opportunities to make plays.
You tell by our questions, obviously looking back in the offense, change your quarterbacks was the number one thing possibly of why maybe you didn't get your offense you wanted to. When you looked at the tape and everything in the offseason, what were maybe one or two other things of the offense? It wasn't the quarterback's fault that you guys contribute to not maybe having the offense you needed.
Well, I think again, I don't know if that's a big question. Maybe a little hard to put my finger on one thing. I think the biggest thing I felt like was a level of consistency of discipline, assignment sound, executing the exact same way every single time. And it was at times when things weren't working out. You could flip a coin maybe for the reason why it didn't. I think the timing, sequencing of some of our pass game concepts, I think will be better. I think experience at quarterback will be better. I think team speed is big. When you talk about spreading the field and getting guys to certain spots, the faster you get to those spots and get those spaces expanded, helps your quarterback and the reads, don't have to protect as long. Everything is so tied together in this game. It's hard to say, hey, this is just the one thing that if you fix this, we would have been better. And I still think, and again, I'm proud of last year was last year and it was a long time ago, but I'm proud of every single one of those guys of what we did and what we were able to accomplish. So.
All right, that's all we have time for. Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.